Chapter 1138. How could she be so arrogant and domineering at this moment? The palace mistress felt that it was a small matter for her to be tricked by Yun Chujio, this little piece of trash. It seemed that this little rascal still gave her some face. This guy's words were too harsh and shameless. Yin Sulian and Yin Xinlian wanted to interrupt a few times, but Yun Chujio did not give them the chance to speak at all. She blabbered on and accused her harshly. After saying that, she asked the palace mistress with a smile, "Auntie, don't you think I'm right? Do you have good taste?" The palace mistress gaped and did not know how to answer. Admit that she had good taste. Didn't that mean that she had admitted that she was the one who said those shameless words? Deny it. She felt that what the little trash said made sense. Her taste was indeed top-notch. The palace master's wife hesitated. Yun Chujio immediately said, "My aunt is too modest. She's too embarrassed to admit that she has good taste. Why are the two of you still standing here? You're embarrassing yourself. Hurry up and get out." Yin Xinlian and Yin Sulian were so angry that they couldn't say anything. Everyone also had looks of disbelief on their faces. There was no one else who could say such things. Also, this Yun Chujio was really too daring. Wasn't she afraid that Dean Huangfu and the palace mistress would get angry at her for acting so recklessly? What kind of occasion was this? How could she be allowed to act recklessly? However, the crowd realized that not only did the palace mistress not say a word, even Dean Huangfu had a calm expression on his face, as if he hadn't seen anything. Deputy Dean Yin saw the Yin sisters being humiliated like this. He immediately shouted angrily, "Yun Chujio, you are really audacious. How can you be so rude in front of the palace master's wife? You have publicly beaten up a classmate, and your words are insolent. According to the rules of the academy, you should be expelled." Yun Chujio shrugged nonchalantly, "I didn't hit her. I just wanted to feed her a sticky cake. Besides, when did I say insolent words? Did I say something bad?" Deputy Dean Yin, even though your Yin family is powerful, you can't bully people like that, right? I have a backer. My aunt is still sitting there, and you're twisting the facts to frame me. You really don't put my aunt in your eyes. No wonder Yin Sulian wanted to seduce young Master Wuji. So it was premeditated. Deputy Dean Yin flew into a rage out of humiliation. He turned around and bowed to the hall master's wife. "Hall master's wife, this Yun Chujio is mischievous and has repeatedly violated the rules of the academy. We did not punish her on account of you. However, she is becoming more and more outrageous now. She is so arrogant in front of you. You can imagine how arrogant and domineering she is usually. Today, I will expel her according to the rules of the academy. Please do not blame me." At this moment, the hall master's wife was still in a daze. Initially, she thought that Yun Chujio had ascended from the Tianxian land. Although she was known as the daughter of an old friend of hers, she would still live in fear and trepidation in the Tian Yuan Academy. She was cowardly, but from the looks of it, not only was she not bullied, she was also living like a fish in water. Furthermore, she had repeatedly violated the academy's rules. Hadn't the Tianyuan Academy always been strict with rules? Why was she still jumping around here after repeatedly violating them? And was she still arrogant and despotic? How could a little trash of the first level of the spirit sect be arrogant and despotic? Wait a moment, shopkeeper Chi seemed to have mentioned this before, but she didn't pay too much attention to it at that time. She seemed to have said something about seniors and feathers. Deputy Dean Yin waited for a long time but still didn't see the palace mistress express her opinion. He frowned and coughed dryly. "Palace mistress, what do you think?" The palace mistress finally came back to her senses and asked indifferently, "You said that little ninth girl has repeatedly violated the academy's rules. Who can tell me how she has violated the academy's rules?" Chapter 1139 was indeed asking for a beating. Deputy Dean Yin had never thought that the wife of the hall master would have such a way of thinking. She only managed to say a few words. Yun Chujio said with disdain, "All right, I'll speak for myself. With your eloquence, I don't know how you managed to get into the position of deputy dean." Deputy Dean Yin was so angry that he almost fainted. He gritted his teeth and stood to the side. Yun Chujio had already figured it out long ago. After all, none of the Yin family members were good people. They all wanted her dead, so what was there for her to worry about? "You guys are courting death." "Auntie, actually, I didn't do anything overboard. Dean Huangfu and the rest are the most fair and honest people. If I really broke the rules of the academy, would they just sit back and do nothing? It's just that I accidentally offended the lackeys of a certain evil force, so I caused a little disturbance." Hey, race the thing, Yun Chujio recounted her heroic deeds. In her story, she was a hero who fought against evil forces. She was full of joy and excitement. At first, the palace master's wife was still indifferent, but as she listened, her mood fluctuated along with Yun Chujio's story. She felt that Yun Chujio did a good job. Those shameless people deserve to be taught a lesson. "Aunt, do you think these shameless people deserve a beating?" Yun Chujio suddenly asked. The palace master's wife was still immersed in Yun Chujio's narration, so she subconsciously answered, "They do deserve a beating." After saying that, the palace master's wife knew that she had fallen into Yun Chujio's trap again, but since she had already said it, she could only admit it. Yun Chujio immediately started to show off. "Did you hear that? My aunt said that those people deserved a beating, and the headmaster had never said that he would expel me. Deputy Dean Yin, why are you different from the rest? Could it be that those people are really your lackeys?" The veins on Deputy Dean Yin's forehead were popping up. If it were not for the fact that he had too many scruples in the academy, he would have slapped Yun Chujio to death. Even so, he still released his pressure on Yun Chujio. He wanted to make her suffer a little, but what puzzled him was that Yun Chujio acted as if nothing had happened and bared her teeth at him. Yun Chujio thought to herself, "I'm not even afraid of the pressure of heavenly thunder, why would I be afraid of an old man like you?" Deputy Dean Yin took a deep breath. "Let's not talk about the past for now. What about the fact that you beat up Yin Xinlian today? Didn't I already say that? I didn't beat her up. I just wanted to feed her a sticky cake so that she wouldn't embarrass herself. I was doing it for her own good. How did it turn into beating her up? Senior Qin, Senior Bai Li, tell me, did I beat up Yin Xinlian?" Yun Chujio pointed at Qin Mingzhu and Bai Li Yan. These two people were gloating over her misfortune. Yin Xinlian had lost her honor this time. The palace master's wife's impression of her had probably plummeted. If she still wanted to snatch her honor, she could dream on. When they suddenly heard Yun Chujio ask them, the two of them almost blurted out at the same time, "No." Hearing the two of them say this, Deputy Dean Yin's expression became even more unsightly. However, he couldn't do anything to Qin Mingzhu and Bai Li Yan. Although the Yin family was powerful, the Gui Yuan sect and Medicine King Valley weren't given to them for free. Therefore, the two of them didn't put Deputy Dean Yin in their eyes at all. "Deputy Dean Yin, my aunt and two senior sisters have proven that I did not beat Yin Xinlian up. You should believe me this time, right? Aunt, it's already noon. You haven't eaten yet, right? Come, I'll treat you to a meal at the canteen." Yun Chujio, this fellow, did not know what it meant to be disliked. She immediately moved to the side of the palace master's wife with a look of deep admiration. Chapter 1140 must have been muddled with anger, although the palace mistress really wanted to slap Yun Chujio away, but in order to maintain her noble temperament, she could only suppress her displeasure and say, "I'm not hungry. I'd better look around. After all, I was also a student of Tianyuan Academy back then. Aunt, then I'll be your guide. I'm not bragging, but I've visited Tianyuan Academy all over. There's nothing I don't know." Yun Chujio instantly turned into a little guide and dragged the palace mistress by her sleeve and left. The palace mistress felt that the anger in her heart had already reached her throat. She tried her best to recite silently, her temperament, and her temperament. Only then did she resist the urge to kick Yun Chujio, who was constantly chattering away. Just when the palace mistress felt that she was about to explode, Yun Chujio actually let go of the palace mistress' sleeve. She said to Qin Mingzhu and Bailey Yan, "Senior sisters, I was bragging just now. I'm just a first-year freshman, how could I be as familiar with the academy as you two? It's better for you to introduce me to my auntie." Qin Mingzhu and Bailey Yan were just resentful that Yun Chujio had occupied all of the hall master's wife's attention. They did not expect that Yun Chujio would actually give them such a good opportunity. Immediately, the resentment in their hearts disappeared. They gratefully nodded at Yun Chujio and then accompanied the hall master's wife on both sides to begin the tour of Tianyuan Academy. Yun Chujio, on the other hand, had her hands behind her back. She raised her neck and followed behind the hall master's wife. She looked like a fox pretending to be a tiger. Occasionally, she would interject a few words. In order to express their gratitude to Yun Chujio, Qin Mingzhu and Bailey Yan did not mind, they would even go along with what she said. The spectators, who did not know the truth, immediately thought that if even Qin Mingzhu and Bailey Yan were trying to curry favor with Yun Chujio, it meant that Yun Chujio must have been doted on by the palace master's wife. She did not even bother to let Yun Chujio explain, she must have been afraid that she would be too tired. Dean Huangfu was half a step behind the palace master's wife to show his respect. His heart was like a kitten scratching at it. It was strange. From the looks of it, His Excellency seemed to be a couple with Yun Chujio. Young Master Wuji also liked this Yun Chujio. However, he saw that the hall master's wife did not seem to like Yun Chujio very much, so why did she still come to the academy to visit her? He did not know that the hall master's wife had originally come to see Yun Chujio as a joke. He did not expect that although Yun Chujio's spiritual power was the weakest, she was doing well in the Tianyuan Academy. Moreover, she had become the class monitor of the Huang class, and everyone responded to her. The most infuriating thing was that the Yin sisters seemed to be quite smart in the past, but in the end, they were brought into the gutter by Yun Chujio with just a few words. They were really too stupid. The dean's wife listened to Qin Mingzhu and Bailey Yan's explanation absent-mindedly. She was very angry in her heart. Not only did she not see the little trash as a joke, so many spirit tools and 1,000,000 upper-grade spirit stones were also taken by the little rascal, she was really angered to death. However, Yin Xinlian said that in 5 months' time, when she went on the life and death arena, how could the little trash, who was only at the first level of the spirit sect, defeat Yin Xinlian, who was at the first level of the spirit saint realm? It was most likely a disaster. When the hall master's wife thought of this, she felt a little unbearable in her heart. Then, she was shocked in her heart. What happened to her? Wasn't it good that the little trash died? Moreover, it was entirely her own doing. It had nothing to do with her. She must have been confused by the little trash. At this moment, Yun Chujio, who was following behind, suddenly remembered something very important. Damn it, she had come out in such a hurry just now. There were still many pastries and spiritual fruits left in the living room, so they could all be stored in her storage ring. Those were all her family's things. This old witch was really a prodigal. Chapter 1141 couldn't be wasted at all. The hall master's wife paid a symbolic visit to a few places before bidding her farewell. Dean Huangfu tried to persuade her to stay, but when he saw that the hall master's wife had already made up her mind, he gave up. Everyone escorted the hall master's wife to the main entrance of the Tianyuan Academy. The hall master's wife boarded her flying spirit tool. Yun Chujio waved her claws and shouted, "Auntie, goodbye. I'll miss you. I love you." The hall master's wife staggered. This little lunatic was really too shameless. The hall master's wife did not know what she was thinking either. She turned her head and said to Yun Chujio with a straight face, Cultivate well so that you won't be unable to come down from the life and death arena. Yun Chujio was stunned. A series of words suddenly flashed through her mind: the prodigal son would not change for the gold when he returned, and the sincerity would open up the gold and stone. Where there was a will, there would be a way. There was nothing difficult in the world, but only those who had a heart would do it. Damn it, was the old witch concerned about her? Wasn't this too shocking? Yun Chujio was about to express her excitement when the hall master's wife's flying spirit tool had already flown far away. Yun Chujio waved her claws symbolically, and then quickly rushed into Tianyuan Academy, sprinting all the way. Everyone looked puzzled. Was Yun Chujio feeling anxious internally? Why did she run so fast? Yun Chujio ran all the way to the living room. The odd job workers in the academy did not receive any notice, so they did not clean up. This guy put all the spirit fruits and pastries into his storage ring. He did not even let go of the snow cashmere carpet on the ground. Curly Ba also put it into his storage ring. Dean Huangfu and the others who arrived later twitched their eyes. There was no one else who was so greedy. Yun Chujio was not embarrassed at all when she was caught in the act. She even boasted shamelessly, "It's not right to waste money. I've always had the virtue of being frugal since I was young." Everyone. When Yun Chujio was so beautiful, she felt that the sky was getting dark. Her heart skipped a beat. Could it be that she was going to be struck again? When she came out of the room, she raised her head and saw that dark clouds had indeed started to gather. The sky quickly darkened, and the pressure of the clouds also became more and more severe. Wu Yun's face twitched. Yun Chujio's face immediately twitched. "Dean, it looks like I'm going to be struck by lightning again. You have to help me, or else my life will be over." Dean Huangfu naturally understood the hidden meaning in Yun Chujio's words, so he said, "Come to my courtyard. I'll help you carry a few strikes." Dean Huangfu then said to the others, "Right, the power of the heavenly lightning is too great. To prevent accidents, don't go near my courtyard." Ever since the last time they saw Deputy Dean Yin being struck by the heavenly lightning, they didn't dare to get too close without Dean Huangfu's permission. They were afraid that they would also be accidentally injured by the unreliable heavenly lightning. Although Deputy Dean Yin was severely struck last time, he still felt that there was something fishy going on, so he stood not far away from Dean Huangfu's courtyard to watch. Dean Huangfu brought Yun Chujio into the courtyard and activated the isolation array. Yun Chujio looked at the restored ground and said apologetically, "Dean, I'm really sorry. I'm afraid your courtyard will suffer again today." Dean Huangfu smiled bitterly. "As long as you don't destroy my house. Although you have a special constitution, it's still better to be careful." Yun Chujio nodded. She said indifferently, "Dean, don't worry. Although this heavenly thunder seems to be quite powerful, it's actually nothing much. By the way, didn't the roasted spirit potato last time taste very good? I'll roast a few more for you today to compensate for the loss of your courtyard." Chapter 1142, Little 9 Roasted Spirit Potatoes. Dean Huangfu's face stiffened as he thought to himself, "As the esteemed dean, I am only worth a few roasted spirit potatoes. Alright, the taste of the heavenly lightning roasted spirit potatoes is quite delicious." At this moment, the sky turned even darker. Fortunately, the people of the Tianyuan Academy already had the experience from last time and knew that the heavenly lightning was here to strike Yun Chujio, so they didn't panic too much. However, the hall master's wife on the flying spirit tool didn't know. Not long after they flew out, they discovered several dark clouds gathering in the direction of the Tianyuan Academy. Their hearts were shocked. What was going on? Could it be that a unique treasure had appeared? Or a strange beast had appeared? Or could it be that these heavenly lightning were sent by the Tian Dao to kill the little trash? Such a thick layer of clouds contained at least several hundred heavenly lightning bolts. The little trash was probably going to die. Although that little good-for-nothing was not likable, it was still a pity for her to die just like that. Forget it. No one could save the person that Tian Dao wanted to kill. She could only blame her own bad luck. Thinking of this, the lady of the hall master took out the voice transmission talisman. Old Qi, this heavenly lightning bolt is most likely to strike Yun Chuzhou. She definitely won't survive. After this, you should inquire about the news and help deal with the aftermath. After receiving the voice transmission talisman from the lady of the hall master, shopkeeper Qi started to have some doubts in his heart. Could it be that the lady of the hall master didn't know that the heavenly lightning didn't strike Yun Chuzhou to death last time? Forget it, he wasn't too clear about what happened last time either. It would be better to wait for this incident to be over before reporting to the lady of the hall master. Boom! Boom! At this moment, several heavenly lightning bolts had already struck down towards Yun Chuzhou. This time, Wu Yun was the same Wu Yun who had struck Yun Chuzhou previously. After learning from the previous experience, he had struck Yun Chuzhou fiercely, as if he wouldn't stop until Yun Chuzhou was dead. Ding Huangfu's brows were tightly knitted. Although he had already witnessed Yun Chuzhou's abnormal physique last time, the lightning this time was clearly more powerful than the previous one. Could she withstand it? On the other hand, Yun Chuzhou looked carefree. There was a handkerchief tied to her head, and she kept picking up a few pieces of spiritual potatoes. She even muttered, "Io, this spiritual potato is too late. It's a little too hot. This one is roasted just right. The fragrance has already come out." Ding Huangfu heard Yun Chuzhou muttering in the midst of the thunder, and he immediately felt that his worries were unnecessary. This girl was really bold. No wonder she dared to go against Ding Haoyu. She wasn't even afraid of the heavenly thunder, so why should she be afraid of him? This little girl's future achievements would definitely not be inferior to that of His Excellency and young Master Wuji. That old fellow in the library would not let a little girl copy books for no reason. He was afraid that she had other plans. Ding Huangfu suddenly thought of a problem. The heavenly thunder would not strike Yun Chuzhou for no reason. Could it be that it struck her because she had broken through? Ding Huangfu shook his head again. It shouldn't be. Her current spiritual power was still at the first level of the spirit sect. If she had broken through, why didn't her spiritual power level change? Besides, who would break through once every 2 months? That was too abnormal. Then why did the heavenly lightning strike her so frequently? Was it just to kill her in a hurry? Just as Ding Huangfu was thinking about it, he saw Yun Chuzhou fly out of the pit while the heavenly lightning struck. She threw a few roasted spirit potatoes to him and said, "Ding, they'll get struck in another pit so that I can hide from the others later." Ding Huangfu took the roasted spirit potatoes with a dumbfounded look on his face. Then, he watched Yun Chuzhou get struck by lightning while eating the roasted spirit potatoes. Chapter 1143 Roasting Spiritual Potatoes. After more than 2 hours, other than 2 deep pits on the ground, Yun Chuzhou was not only unharmed, but she had also roasted a pile of spiritual potatoes. Wu Yun in the sky was trembling with anger. This was too much. This was too much. How could such a perverted little monster appear in the Tian Yuan continent? Last time, they did not kill her and thought that they had underestimated their enemy. However, this time, they had already used all their strength. Why was it that they still could not kill her? Wu Yun was naturally unwilling to give up, and lightning struck down one after another. The 3 malefic stars in Yun Chuzhou's body hadn't eaten their fill last time, and now they were letting out Huan Er's swallowing of the lightning spiritual force that was continuously surging into Yun Chuzhou's body. The black bead was especially like a black hole that couldn't be filled, it always looked like it was starving to death. Although the lightning spiritual force was very violent, Yun Chuzhou's tendons and meridians had already become very strong after several times of washing. Therefore, although these lightning strikes were fierce and earth-shattering, to Yun Chuzhou, it was just a mobile power source to replenish the lightning spiritual force. 6 hours had passed, but Yun Chujio was still unharmed. This fellow felt that roasting the spiritual potato was not difficult anymore. He took out a snow rabbit and started to roast it. He used his body to block the heat and had a great time. Wu Yun was so angry that he was about to cry. Wu, the baby had never met such a pervert. He was so angry that he was going to die. Deputy Dean Een, who was standing outside the courtyard, initially stood quite far away. However, when he saw that there was nothing much going on, and he was really curious about what was happening in the courtyard, he subconsciously got closer and closer to the courtyard. Wu Yun, who was in the sky, clearly had a good memory. Damn it, it was this person who had insisted on staying so close to the child that he owed him. He was accidentally struck by them, and in the end, they were all punished. Today, he shamelessly came forward again. This was a blatant provocation. Damn it, if we can't kill the little pervert, why can't we kill you? Deputy Dean Een was stretching his neck to look into the courtyard when several bolts of heavenly lightning struck down on him. Deputy Dean Een's mood was like that of a mad dog. Was there something wrong with these heavenly lightning bolts? Why are they always striking him? Deputy Dean Een had learned his lesson from last time. After using his spiritual energy barrier to block the lightning bolts, he ran all the way. In any case, these lightning bolts were coming for Yun Chujio. As he was a little further away from the courtyard, he reckoned that they wouldn't chase after him anymore. Clearly, Deputy Dean Een had underestimated the wrath of the lightning bolts. A piece of dark cloud chased closely behind him. It struck Deputy Dean Een until he vomited blood and fell to the ground. Only then did it float back to the top of Dean Huangfu's courtyard. The dark clouds discussed among themselves. In any case, they wouldn't be able to kill this little pervert today. Let's call it a day. Yun Chujio saw that the dark clouds had stopped striking and looked like they were going to float away. She hurriedly shouted, "Hey, don't go. Just strike a little longer." Wu Yun was so angry that he was trembling. This was the first time he had met someone who asked them to strike a little longer. This person wasn't even human. He was just a pervert. "I'll sing a song for you guys. It's specially written for you guys. You guys will be very touched after listening to my song. After you're done, you can stay for a while longer. You're the most beautiful cloud in the sky. You asked me to keep you with all my heart. You're the most beautiful cloud in my heart. Why didn't I let you stay?" After listening to Yun Chujio's song, not only did Wu Yun not stay, she ran even faster. Damn it, this little pervert must be up to no good. Why did she keep them here? Who knows, there might still be some bad tricks waiting for us. They should just run away quickly. The next mission to split her up should be up to them. They would never want to see this little pervert again. Chapter 1144, Leaning against a big tree to enjoy the shade. Dean Huangfu held the roasted spiritual potato in his hand with a dumbfounded look on his face. Why was it sung? Why did the dark clouds look like they were fleeing in panic? Was it the other way around? Logically speaking, it shouldn't be Yun Chujio who was afraid of the dark clouds. Why did he feel that it was Wu Yun who was afraid of Yun Chujio now? It was chaos. It was all chaotic. Just as Dean Huangfu was in a daze, he heard Yun Chujio sigh and say, "Sigh. Why did you leave just like that? These irresponsible heavenly lightning bolts, why don't you let me break through before leaving?" Dean Huangfu stood up immediately. "What did you say? Are you saying that you're going to break through?" Yun Chujio glanced at Dean Huangfu. "Yes, if I wasn't going to break through, why would these heavenly lightning bolts strike me?" Dean Huangfu felt that Yun Chujio was looking at him as if he was an idiot. Yun Chujio continued, "I've only broken through one level. Are you kidding me? I've been looking forward to this for a long time, but you only let me break through one level. This is too much. A bad review. I must get a bad review." Dean Huangfu felt that his brain wasn't enough. What did she mean by only breaking through one level? Normally, breaking through one layer meant breaking through one layer, right? From what you said, you would only be satisfied if you broke through several layers at once. Moreover, you said that you had broken through, so why did I look at your spirit energy level and see that it was still at the first layer of the spirit sect? That Yun Chujio, you said that you only broke through one layer. Why is your spirit energy level still at the first layer of the spirit sect? Dean Huangfu couldn't hold it in any longer. Yun Chujio was a shrewd person. Her words just now seemed to say that she was blabbering, but in reality, she was doing it on purpose. After such a long period of contact, she felt that Dean Huangfu wasn't a bad person. If she wanted to gain a foothold in the Tianyuan Academy and be able to contend with Deputy Dean Yin, she could only do so by obtaining Dean Huangfu's protection. If she wanted to obtain Dean Huangfu's protection, she first had to display her value and strength. Her value had already been more or less displayed. Firstly, there was a conflict between Dean Huangfu and Deputy Dean Yin. Dean Huangfu had already used her hands to get rid of several of Deputy Dean Yin's lackeys. Secondly, the performance of the pretty boy and black chicken head the last time, Dean Huangfu would definitely re-evaluate her value. Now, she had to properly display her strength and once again consolidate the degree of importance he placed on her. In the future, it would be easier for her to rely on a big tree for shade. Other than being thick-skinned, Yun Chujia's biggest advantage was that she was able to climb up smoothly. In her previous life, she had also relied on these two methods to climb up to the position of a top agent in the organization. In the words of her good friend, Yun Chi, she had simply tricked her into becoming a top agent. After Yun Chujio had made up her mind, she began to adjust her spiritual power level. Dean Huangfu watched as Yun Chujia's spiritual power level slowly rose from the first level of the spirit sect all the way to the fourth level of the spirit sect. Dean Huangfu rubbed his eyes and pinched himself again. It hurt so much that he grinned. It seemed like it was true. But it was strange. How could he not see that Yun Chujio was hiding her cultivation with his cultivation? Could it be that she had some immortal artifact that hid her cultivation? Dean, to be honest, my body is a little special. If I didn't wear this hidden spirit ring, I wouldn't have any spiritual power fluctuations on me. In the fourth round of the entrance exam, it was because I didn't have any spiritual power fluctuations on me that I successfully obtained the Jade Token. Yun Chujio knew that in order to gain the trust of others, she had to show her sincerity. Unintentionally revealing her trump card was the greatest sincerity. Cough cough. Fortunately, she had enough trump cards, so there was no harm in revealing one or two of them. There was such a good place in chapter 1145 in order to prove that what she said was true. Yun Chujio put away the hidden spirit ring. As expected, there was no spiritual energy fluctuation on her body at all. Dean Huangfu couldn't help but click his tongue in wonder. He had never heard that the heavenly thunder spirit root had such a strange attribute. This Yun Chujia's physique was very special. Wait, that wasn't right. The fourth level of the spirit sect. She had entered the school at the first level of the spirit sect. Didn't that mean that she had risen 2 levels after being struck by lightning last time? No wonder she had scolded the heavenly lightning for being irresponsible just now. It turned out that this guy had risen 2 levels in one go. That, Yun Chujio, you rose 2 levels after being struck by lightning last time. That's right. It's all because of this damn heavenly lightning being irresponsible. If it had been struck for another 4 hours, perhaps I would have risen another level. How detestable. Yun Chujio puffed her cheeks and said angrily. Dean Huangfu only had one thought in his mind at this moment. You really aren't satisfied. What else do you want to do if you want to level up in 2 months? Yun Chujio counted with her fingers and said, if we calculate according to the calculation of 2 levels in 2 months, when that little bitch Yin Xinlian and I are on the life and death arena, I will almost be able to break through to the first level of the Spirit Saint realm. This is great. This damn heavenly lightning has really set me up. I have to think of another way to speed up my level up. Dean Huangfu thought that he was knowledgeable, but he still felt that his brain was not enough when he met a weirdo like Yun Chuzhou. He asked almost subconsciously, "What other way are you going to think of?" Yun Chuzhou giggled. "Dean, I was just about to ask you for advice. You are knowledgeable and knowledgeable. Help me think of a way. You can't just watch me go to the life and death arena to die, right?" Dean Huangfu felt that he really owed his son. Why would he ask such a stupid question? It was obvious that this fellow was made of sticky candy. He might not be able to get rid of it once it was stuck to him. How can there be a shortcut to cultivation? If you advance too quickly and your foundation is unstable, you will have inner demons. You should just focus on your cultivation. As for the life and death platform, if it really doesn't work, you can just think of a way to delay it. After all, you have plenty of bad ideas, Dean Huangfu said unhappily. Dean, you've eaten quite a few roasted spiritual potatoes of mine. Are you just going to brush me off like that? It's really too heartbreaking. After Yun Chuzhou finished speaking, she sat down on the ground and wiped her tears away. This fellow was cursing in his heart. You old fox, I don't believe that you have no idea what to do. When Yun Chuzhou cried like that, Dean Huangfu felt like he was an unpardonable evil person. He gritted his teeth and said, "Enough. Stop crying. If you can endure the pain, it's not impossible." Yun Chuzhiou's eyes lit up, and the fellow immediately broke into a smile. "Isn't it just a little pain? Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Dean, please tell me. What is the solution? If you want to break through quickly in a short period of time, you have to break through your own limits. Tianyuan Academy has a trial tower, and the demon beasts and environment inside are all illusory formations. Although they won't cause real harm to people, the various kinds of pain are no different from real feelings." Yun Chuzhou immediately jumped up from the ground. "There is such a good place in our academy. Why didn't I know about it?" Dean Huangfu glanced at her. "Don't be happy too early. Because the demonic beasts inside are extremely savage and the environment is extremely harsh, only spirit saints would dare to enter the first level. Furthermore, without the spirit energy of the fourth level of the spirit saint realm, it is impossible for one to pass the first level. It is just to increase one's actual combat experience." Chapter 1146, I am the most low-key. Yun Chuzhou bared her little white teeth. "So what if it's dangerous? I won't really lose my life anyway. Where is this trial tower? You specially gave me 8 to 10 days of leave. I'll go and challenge it." The trial tower is behind the Tianyuan Academy's library. It just so happens that it's closed tomorrow. You should go first. If you still don't come out in 3 days, I'll help you ask for leave from your teacher. Dean Huangfu said. 10 days or 8 days. This Yun Chuzhou really didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. With her level of spiritual power, she probably couldn't even last a quarter of an hour. However, he had better not tell her the truth so that she wouldn't pester him again. He had to get rid of this little rascal first. Although Yun Chuzhou was shrewd, she still couldn't see through the old fox's thoughts. She immediately expressed her gratitude. Dean Huangfu touched his nose guiltily. He hurriedly changed the topic. "Well, since Wu Yun has already drifted away, I'll open the isolation array. The way I said it is the same as last time. Oh right, it seems that a piece of Wu Yun has drifted away just now. I don't know which unlucky person it struck. Dean, please wait a moment. I'll transfer my spirit energy back to the first level of the spirit sect before you open the isolation array. I'm a person who keeps a low profile the most. It's best not to agitate others." Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. The corner of Dean Huangfu's eyes twitched. "Forget it. Are you pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger to cheat others? Dean Huangfu opened the isolation array while cursing in his heart. At this time, the surrounding people also gathered around. Dean Huangfu asked, who was struck by the heavenly lightning just now. Deputy Dean Jiang held back his laughter and said, Dean, the heavenly lightning struck Deputy Dean Yin just now. Look, isn't he meditating over there? Dean Huangfu looked in the direction where Deputy Dean Jiang was pointing and saw that Deputy Dean Yin was seriously injured again. His clothes were covered in blood and he was recuperating. Dean Huangfu couldn't help but gloat in his heart. This Yun Chujio was really Yin Haoyu's nemesis. The heavenly lightning was supposed to strike her, but why did it strike Yin Haoyu every time? It was really funny. Yun Chujio also saw Yin Haoyu's miserable state. She said in surprise, Aya, what's going on? Isn't the heavenly lightning supposed to strike me? Why does it strike Deputy Dean Yin every time? Could it be that he did something bad, so the heavenly lightning conveniently punished him on behalf of the heavens? Although Deputy Dean Yin was seriously injured, his hearing was still pretty good. He heard Yun Chujio's words clearly and was so angry that he spat out another mouthful of blood. Yun Chujio, you bitch. Initially, he wanted to let Xinlian kill you on the life and death arena, but you provoked him again and again. He really couldn't stand it anymore. He'll find an opportunity to kill you. Io, Deputy Dean Yin spat out blood again. Is he going to die? This person can't do anything shameful. God's eyes are bright and clear. He can take care of the evil people at the same time. Yun Chujio said with a smile. Deputy Dean Yin was so angry that he spat out another mouthful of blood and fainted on the ground. Yin Xinlian and the others quickly fed Deputy Dean Yin pills and finally woke him up. The first thing Deputy Dean Yin said when he woke up was, help me back to my courtyard immediately. He felt that if he was still here, he would definitely be angered by Yun Chujio until he vomited blood again. Stupid girl, just you wait, I won't forgive you. The hearts of the bystanders trembled. Damn it, this Yun Chujio could make Deputy Dean Yin so angry just by talking. It was better for them to not provoke her in the future. Although her spiritual power was useless, her words were too overbearing. They could not afford to offend her and could only hide. Chapter 1147 Yun Chujio sneaked in the next morning. Yun Chujio hopped out of the dormitory. After bypassing the library, there was indeed a pitch-black 9-story pagoda standing there. At the door was a teacher who was yawning and dozing off. Teacher, I want to enter the trial tower. How does it work? The teacher sized up Yun Chujio, thinking that he had heard wrong. What did you say? I want to quickly raise my cultivation level. The dean has asked me to enter the trial tower. Please tell me how to enter the trial tower. You want to enter the trial tower? Could it be that you are making fun of me early in the morning? Only a student with the cultivation level of a spirit saint would dare to try this trial tower. Why are you, a first-level spirit sect student, causing trouble? Go and stay where you are. The teacher said impatiently. Yun Chujio explained for a while more, but the teacher still refused to give in. He thought that Yun Chujio was messing around. A first-level spirit sect student entering the trial tower. This was simply messing around. Just as Yun Chujio was at her wit's end, more and more senior students came over to enter the trial tower. They were also stunned when they saw Yun Chujio. What was this Yun Chujio doing here in the trial tower? Those students each paid 10 high-grade spirit stones, and the teacher handed each of them a jade token. Those students placed the jade token in the groove on the trial tower's door, and the trial tower's door opened. Yun Chujio was very curious, so she stood at the trial tower's door and looked inside, wanting to see what was inside. No one expected that there was a powerful suction force inside the trial tower, and Yun Chujio was forcefully sucked in. Hey! You! Why did you sneak in? The teacher didn't notice it before. When he raised his head, he saw Yun Chujio rush in. He thought that Yun Chujio had snuck in by herself. Just as he was about to stop her, it was too late. The trial tower's door closed with a bang. The teacher was so anxious that he was hopping around. Cold sweat immediately broke out on his forehead. He never expected that Yun Chujio would be so daring to sneak in. What should he do? The teacher had no choice but to take out his identity jade token and send a message to Deputy Dean Xiao. Not long after, Deputy Dean Xiao, Dean Huangfu, and the others all came. What's going on? Yun Chujio entered the trial tower without permission. Deputy Dean Xiao asked anxiously. The teacher's forehead was covered in cold sweat. An hour ago, Yun Chujio said that she wanted to enter the trial tower. I think she must be messing around. Why would a first-level spirit sect enter the trial tower? I didn't expect that a few senior students would enter the trial tower after receiving the jade tokens. Yun Chujio actually sneaked in with them. By the time I wanted to stop her, it was already too late. Instructor Xiao immediately said unhappily, as the instructor guarding the trial tower, how could you be so careless? The trial tower was very dangerous. If there was no passage jade token, she wouldn't be able to come out. Wouldn't Yun Chujio have to die and live countless times in there? Dean Huangfu let out a long sigh. This is all my fault. If I hadn't told her that the trial tower could help her break through her cultivation bottleneck, she wouldn't have come to this trial tower. What should we do? The students who enter are all in different places. There's no way to know what's going on inside. Besides, unless the trial tower is destroyed, there's no way for her to come out. Even if we don't talk about anything else, she'll starve to death. Deputy Dean Jiang was also frowning. Chapter 1148. Someone had broken into the second level. The news of Yun Chujio sneaking into the trial tower quickly spread throughout the Tianyuan Academy. Although it was Sun Xiu, many people still knew that Yun Chujio had sneaked into the trial tower. Some people were extremely worried, some people had the mentality of watching a show, while others were gloating over Yun Chujio's misfortune. TSK, this Yun Chujio relied on her sharp tongue to stir up trouble. Let's see what she will do this time. What to do? She will probably die inside. This trial tower is an ancient divine artifact. Even His Excellency and young Master Wuji cannot break it. Yun Chujio will never be able to come out. When the Yin sisters heard the news, they were extremely excited. Sister, this time, Yun Chujio is dead for sure. She dared to sneak into the trial tower without knowing clearly. She is really courting death. Yin Sulian gloated. Yin Xinlian sneered, HMPH. This Yun Chujio always thought that she was smart. This time, she was just waiting to spend the rest of her life in the trial tower. Moreover, she was constantly bitten to death by demonic beasts. She originally wanted to kill her on the life and death arena. It was really too easy for her. This is called retribution. Sister, Yun Chujio has already been eliminated. Now, you have to deal with Qin Mingzhu and Bailey Yan, the two bitches. Previously, when the palace master's wife came, they were all on Yun Chujio's side. Yin Sulian gnashed her teeth and said. The two of them are different from Yun Chujio. Their family background is on par with ours. We have to take it slowly. Let's go and tell this good news to fourth grandfather. He will definitely be very happy. After the Yin sisters told Deputy Dean Yin about Yun Chujio sneaking into the trial tower, Deputy Dean Yin felt that half of his injuries had healed. This smelly girl was really courting death. Such a way of dying was simply too miserable. To be bitten to death repeatedly by demon beasts, then resurrected, and then bitten to death again was truly retribution. Dean Huanfu's intestines were turning green with regret at this moment. It was already useless to blame the tutor who was guarding the trial tower. Moreover, Yun Chujio took up the majority of the responsibility. This fellow was an unruly person. How could he be so mischievous to actually barge in? Dean Huangfu felt that the dumbest thing he had done was to only tell Yun Chujio about the trial tower and not tell her that she had to rely on the jade token to enter before she could come out. Dean Huangfu thought of the importance his esteemed self and young master Wuji placed on Yun Chujio and frowned even more. If these two great Buddhas were to find out about this matter, it was likely that there would be a huge commotion. However, the matter was so important that Dean Huangfu had no choice but to privately send people to send letters to Di Baiming and Shui Wuji. Dean Huangfu was sighing and frowning when he heard the tutor who was guarding the trial tower exclaim, "Heavens! Someone has reached the second level." Dean Huangfu raised his head and saw that the second level of the trial tower had indeed lit up. However, what was so strange about it? Although the first level of the Spirit Saint realm could not reach the second level, those above the fourth level of the Spirit Saint realm could reach the second level. Deputy Dean Xiao also glared at the instructor unhappily. "What are you shouting for? What's so strange about entering the second level? It's not like you've reached the sixth level." "No, none of the students who entered today have exceeded the fourth level of the Holy Spirit realm," the teacher mumbled. In his heart, he hated Yun Chujio to the core. "Why did you sneak in for no reason? You've really implicated me." Although everyone felt that it was a small piece of news that someone had skipped a level and entered the second level, it was nothing compared to Yun Chujio's matter, so no one paid too much attention to it. Chapter 1149, Was Yun Chujio. Just as everyone was about to disperse, the people in the trial tower came out one after another. After all, the process of dying in there was too torturous. They would not be able to hold on for more than 4 hours. After they came out and heard about Yun Chujio's matter, they also discussed animatedly. "We were all separated when we were teleported in, so we did not have the chance to meet each other. Otherwise, we could have brought Yun Chujio out. Who asked her to sneak in by herself? She deserved it. Yeah, this Yun Chujio is too bold. This time, she's completely finished. She won't be able to come out of the trial tower for the rest of her life. I guess she will be trapped in the first level of the trial tower for the rest of her life. After all, it's a fool's dream for her to break through to the second level with her spiritual power level." At this moment, the teacher guarding the Tower of Trials cried out in shock, "Heavens! Impossible! How is this possible?" Everyone looked at him in confusion, especially the few principals who felt that this teacher Mao was usually rather reliable. Why was she acting so abnormally today? Could it be that she had contracted some kind of illness? Seeing that everyone did not understand, Teacher Mao stammered in excitement, "Everyone, come out. There are still people on the second level." Yun Chujio. Deputy Dean Xiao glared at him. "Why can't you even speak clearly? What do you mean?" Teacher Mao took a deep breath. After calming himself down, he said, "A total of 12 students entered today. Now that everyone has come out, but the second level of the trial tower is still lit up. This means that the person on the second level of the trial tower is Yun Chujio." Everyone immediately exploded. Impossible. This was impossible. Teacher Mao must be spouting nonsense. Only the fourth level of the Holy Spirit realm could make it to the second level of the Tower of Trials. Yun Chujio was trash from the first level of the Spirit sect. How could she make it to the second level? Could it be that there was something wrong with the Tower of Trials? Everyone felt that this was impossible. How could Yun Chujio make it to the second level? Could it be that she was bluffing? Dean Huangfu suddenly thought of Yun Chujio's abnormal talent and could not help but sigh. Such a good seedling had died trapped in this trial tower. "I am a sinner of the Tianyuan Academy." Deputy Dean Xiao muttered softly, "Actually, Yun Chujio still has a way to get out." Everyone's eyes turned to him. Dean Huangfu asked excitedly, "What way?" "If Yun Chujio passes the 9th level of the trial tower, she can be ejected out." Deputy Dean Xiao did not even have the confidence to say these words himself. In tens of thousands of years, no one had ever passed the 9th level of the trial tower. Not to mention Yunchujio, who was at the first level of the spirit sect. When everyone heard Deputy Dean Xiao's words, they were instantly discouraged. This possibility did not exist at all. Even a 5th level spiritual venerable could only reach the 6th level, not to mention Yunchujio, who was on the first level of the spirit sect. Dean Huangfu sighed. Everyone, there's no need to stand guard here. Go back and think of a way to save Yunchujio. Deputy Dean Xiao and the others knew that it was useless to stand guard here. They dispersed one after another. Only Teacher Mao, Feng Ming, and the others were still waiting outside the trial tower. Feng Ming and the others recalled the incident at the Azure Mystic Continent's Wuwei Tower. At that time, everyone thought that Junior Sister Yun wouldn't be able to pass the 9th level, but Junior Sister Yun had done it. They believed that she would be able to do it this time. All right. These 3 people were filled with a mysterious confidence towards Yunchujio. Chapter 1150. Lack of intelligence. 2 hours ago, when Yunchujio was poking her head out of the trial tower, she was sucked into the trial tower by the sudden suction force. She entered the first level of the trial tower with a dumbfounded expression. Fuck. What's going on? I haven't received my jade token yet. Yunchujio felt as though she was bickering with a dog. She was not stupid. Those people who entered had received their jade tokens. They must have activated their jade tokens before they could leave. A white light flashed. Yunchujio realized that she was in a sea of water. The sea of water was bone-chilling. A thought quickly flashed through Yunchujio's mind. Fuck, could it be that the spirit of the trial tower deliberately played a trick on her? Yunchujio thought to herself, Qi Ling. After bringing her in and trapping her inside, she could only live and die again. She had tortured her countless times. It was simply a lack of virtue. Damn Qi Ling, don't let me catch you, or I will torture you to death. Although Yunchujio was thinking angrily, she still activated the water repellent bead first and then floated above the sea. This guy tried the sound transmission talisman, and as expected, it didn't work at all. It was estimated that the concealment talisman and the sudden rupture talisman were also useless. Master, are we trapped in this trial tower? Xiao Hanio said anxiously from inside the spirit beast bag. Yunchujio touched her nose. Yes, it should be like this. We were tricked by the shameless Qi Ling again. Master, if you say that, I will be very sad. You can't just knock over our Qi Ling with one hit. Mao Maoqiu said aggrievedly. Forget it. You tricked me so badly back then that you almost fed me to the scorpions. Just stay away. Yunchujio said angrily. Mao Maoqiu saw that Yunchujio had dug up the past and immediately did not dare to say anything. After all, this fellow had also tricked Yunchujio badly back then. Master, how are we going to get out? If we don't go out, although we won't starve to death, you will die countless times. Moreover, you won't be able to see your pretty boy anymore. Xiao Hanio said. Yunchujio touched her chin. Humph. It won't be that easy for that damn Qi Ling to torture me to death. There's only one way for us to get out of here now, and that is to get the Qi Ling out and torture it until it has nothing left to live for. Then, it will naturally let us out. Xiao Hanio was about to cry. Master, although you're full of confidence and it's a good thing, aren't you overconfident? That Qi Ling must be hiding on the 9th level. But, you are only at the 4th level of the spirit sect. Can you make it to the 9th level? Didn't that teacher Mu say so? Only those at the 4th level of the spirit saint realm can make it to the 2nd level. If you calculate, the 9th level should be the 9th level of the spirit paragon realm. How can you make it to the 9th level? Yunchujio pursed her lips indifferently, then, she pointed at her own head. HMPH, strength is one thing, but brains are another. Your master's strength is not enough to supplement my intelligence. Besides, I'm not really dead anyway. Let's fight. I don't believe that I can't make it to the 9th level. Master, I think you might as well let the lightning strike you. If the heavenly lightning destroys this trial tower, won't we be able to leave? It's probably going to be tough. This trial tower is obviously not a common object. It might even be a divine artifact or something. The heavenly lightning might not be able to strike it. I'll give it a try. Sure enough, Yun Chujio cursed for a long time, but there was no reaction at all. However, there was movement in the water. A huge sea beast appeared in front of them and swam quickly towards Yun Chujio. Chapter 1151, I'm really too miserable. The sea-swallowing saber-toothed whale was a 21st level sea beast. Its body was extremely tough and it had sharp teeth. It could be said to be the tyrant of the sea. The eyes of the sea-swallowing saber-toothed whale were filled with contempt. Although it was a mirage beast derived from a formation, its intelligence was no different from that of an ordinary demon beast. It really could not understand why such a weak chicken would appear in this trial tower. First level of the spirit sect. Was she deliberately looking for trouble? Just as the sea-swallowing saber-toothed whale was puzzled, it saw the little girl in front of it waving her claws with a smile. "Hi, Lord Whale, how are you?" The sea-swallowing saber-toothed whale stared at Yun Chujio with its huge eyes. It thought to itself, this human little girl is most likely mentally ill. When people who normally come to the trial see me, they either turn around and run away, or they are prepared to fight with me. What is she trying to do? Lord Whale, I know that I can't beat you, so I won't resist. I'll tell you about my bad luck to relieve your boredom. Yun Chujio's smile immediately turned into a frown. The speed of the change of expression made the sea-swallowing saber-toothed whale dumbfounded. Was this little weakling a color-changing cuttlefish? How did she change her expression so quickly? However, it was not bad to hear from her since she had nothing to do anyway. Lord Whale, you don't know. I originally wanted to take a look at the situation inside the trial tower, but I didn't expect to be sucked in by a huge force. I'm really unlucky for 8 lifetimes. I usually respect the elderly and love the young. I didn't do anything wicked, so why am I so unlucky? I won't be able to get out of here in this lifetime. I guess I'll have to die countless times before I can truly die. Have you ever seen someone who is even more unlucky than me? Yun Chujio said to the point where she was sad, and she even started to cry. The sea-swallowing saber-toothed whale was stunned when it heard that. After it heard that, it couldn't help but open its big mouth and laugh at Yun Chujio's misfortune. This little weakling was really too pitiful. It was so funny that this whale would die. A fierce look flashed across Yun Chujio's eyes. She waved her hands repeatedly, and several small purple lightning bolts and small purple needles swam into the sea-swallowing saber-toothed whale's big mouth swiftly. When the sea-swallowing saber-toothed whale discovered it, it was already too late. Its mouth was too big. When it closed its mouth, a lot of small purple lightning bolts and small purple needles had already entered. The sea-swallowing saber-toothed whale was instantly furious. This little weakling is really too sinister. She actually deliberately made me laugh and then tried to sneak attack me. However, you are too naive. With your weak spiritual power attack, it is impossible for it to have any effect on me. I will bite you to death right now. I will let you die countless times. The sea-swallowing saber-toothed whale pounced towards Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio smiled evilly and a large basin appeared in her hand. The black ink in it instantly dyed the seawater black. The sea-swallowing saber-toothed whale could not see Yun Chujio's figure at all. This little weakling was really detestable. Extremely detestable. There was simply too much bad water. However, no matter how many bad ideas you had, you were so weak that you could only accept death. At this moment, the sea-swallowing saber-toothed whale heard a clear voice shouting, "Explode." All of you explode. Blow up this stupid loach. Just when the swallowing saber-toothed whale was wondering what Yun Chujio meant, it felt a sharp pain in its stomach. Although it looked very strong, its stomach was filled with internal organs. How could it withstand such a spiritual attack? It immediately rolled around in pain. Yun Chujio was not far away. She curled the corner of her mouth and waved her hands continuously. Several purple lightning bolts and purple needles attacked the back of the swallowing saber-toothed whale and its eyes. Chapter 1152, No Blind Spots. The swallowing saber-toothed whale was out of luck. It had never met such a depraved person. Moreover, why was this little weakling's spiritual power attack so abnormal? She could even control the time of the explosion. Was she really only at the first level of the spirit sect? The swallowing saber-toothed whale kept rolling in the sea water. Before the pain in its stomach eased up, its eyes and rear area were attacked again. The sea water was soon dyed red with fresh blood. Yun Chujio would not let go of such a great opportunity. She waved her hands non-stop and kept ordering the purple needles to self-destruct. As for the purple lightning, she did not even need to command it to attack the swallowing saber-toothed whale. The swallowing saber-toothed whale finally could not hold on anymore. It let out a miserable cry and floated on the sea surface with its belly turned over. Then, it disappeared and the sea water returned to its original color. Yun Chujio was wondering if she should pass when a white light flashed before her eyes. When she saw the scene in front of her, Yun Chujio wanted to strangle the weapon spirit of the trial tower to death. Yun Chujio was currently being hung on a cliff by a vine. Below it was a level 22 Vajra earth-splitting wild bear. It opened its bloody mouth wide, drooling as it waited for Yun Chujio to fall. On the cliff, a level 22 single-horned bull was gnawing on the vine. Judging from the speed of its gnawing, the vine that was hanging on Yun Chujio would break in less than 15 minutes. The worst part was that not far from the cliff, there was another level 22 poison-striped double-tailed python that was slithering towards Yun Chujio. As the saying went, it was bad enough to be attacked from both sides. Damn it, she was attacked from all angles. Yun Chujio recalled a painting she had seen in her previous life. There was a person hanging from a tree branch. The tree was about to break. There was a snake on the tree, a lion under the tree, and 2 crocodiles in the river. Damn it. Her situation was even worse than that person's. Yun Chujio's brain was working quickly. She had to make a decision quickly, or there would be no room for escape. If this place was not restricted to flying, she could easily escape. However, it was precisely restricted to flying. What should she do now? Yun Chujio estimated the distance from this place to the ground. If she jumped down, she would probably be smashed into pieces. However, if she climbed up, not only would she have to deal with a single-horned bull, but she would also have to deal with the poison-striped double-tailed python. There was no way for her to survive. The poison-striped twin-tailed python was getting closer and closer to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio could even smell the stench of the poison-striped twin-tailed python. It was not that Yun Chujio had never thought of using her spiritual power to attack, but it was impossible for her to succeed in a short period of time. It was simply a waste of time. Do I really have to die first? No, even if it's not true death, I don't want to experience the taste of death. There must be a way. Calm down, calm down. Compared to climbing up, jumping down is more advantageous. But how can I guarantee that I won't fall to my death and not be bitten to death by that earth-shattering King Kong savage bear? Yun Chujio's eyes suddenly lit up. From her storage ring, she threw down the corpse of the demon beast. The earth-shattering King Kong savage bear was stunned at first, then it thought about it. After all, the little weakling on top wouldn't be able to escape from its palm. It would be good to eat some first, so it lowered its head and started to eat the corpses of the demon beasts. Seeing this, Yun Chujio unhesitatingly released the vines and climbed down the cliff at a high speed. The poison-striped double-tailed python was stunned. How could this weak human chicken be better at climbing than the pythons? The cliff was very steep. How did she climb down so quickly? Chapter 1153 Diamond Earth Splitting Wild Bear. Master, I'm still useful at critical moments, right? The dye and the ink were provided by the baby as a friendship. Don't bring up old grudges in the future. It'll hurt your feelings, Mao Maochio said smugly. Yun Chujio pursed her lips and ignored Mao Maochio. It turned out that Yun Chujio had suddenly thought of the sticky thread of Mao Maochio, so she climbed down by relying on the sticky thread. It was not that Yun Chujio had not thought of climbing along the cliff wall, but she considered that she could not use her spiritual power to attack while climbing. If she was caught by the poison-striped twin-tailed python, she could only wait for death. Therefore, she had to land on the ground. When the earth-shattering King Kong wild bear heard the noise, it was also stunned when it saw Yun Chujio quickly climbing down. This little weakling had some skills, but if you climb down, you can only let me kill you. The earth-shattering bear no longer ate the demon beast corpses. Instead, it stared at the bottom of the cliff like a tiger watching its prey. It was prepared to rush up and eat Yun Chujio the moment Yun Chujio landed. A trace of craftiness flashed across Yun Chujio's eyes. Little fellow, although my spiritual power level is far inferior to yours, I have brains. You stupid bear, don't. Watch how I will deal with you. Just as Yun Chujio was about to reach the attack range of the earth-shattering King Kong wild bear, she suddenly shook her hand and a large bag of chili powder was thrown towards the face of the earth-shattering King Kong wild bear. Although the earth-shattering King Kong wild bear was guarding against Yun Chujio's spiritual power attack, it never dreamed that someone would use the chili powder as an attack weapon. Moreover, it was looking up at Yun Chujio, therefore, most of the chili powder was sprinkled on its face, and its eyes immediately became so hot that it could not open them. Seeing that the earth-shattering King Kong wild bear had been hit, Yun Chujio suddenly jumped up and landed on the ground. Then, she directed several bolts of lightning towards the eyes of the earth-shattering King Kong wild bear, mixed with several small purple needles. The earth-shattering King Kong wild bear waved its huge claws to block Yun Chujio's lightning. The purple lightning could not cause much damage at all. It was just a slight pain. However, the purple needles were too small and went through the gaps between the claws of the earth-shattering King Kong wild bear. Yun Chujio was delighted and quickly ordered the purple needles to self-destruct. The earth-shattering King Kong wild bear was waving its huge paw when its eyes suddenly felt a sharp pain. The chili and the purple needles self-destructed. The left eye of the earth-shattering King Kong wild bear immediately began to bleed non-stop. The earth-shattering bear was completely enraged this time. It did not care about its injured left eye and used its huge paw to hit the ground. Immediately, a huge crack appeared on the ground. Fortunately, Yun Chujio's reaction was fast enough, that was why she did not fall into the crack. The earth-shattering bear roared angrily and kept hitting the ground. Soon, several cracks appeared on the ground. Yun Chujio gritted her teeth. It was better to run. She first found a place to catch her breath. She would deal with this stupid bear after she thought of a good idea. Yun Chujio thought of this and ran all the way. Although the level of the earth-shattering King Kong wild bear's spiritual power was much higher than Yun Chujio's, its left eye was extremely painful. It was anxious to find herbs to relieve the pain, so it gave up after chasing for a while. The little weakling could not run out of its palm no matter how much it ran. It would treat its injuries first and then deal with her. Yun Chujio saw that the diamond earth-splitting wild bear was no longer chasing her, so she sat down on the ground and panted heavily. This level 22 demon beast was equivalent to the 4th to 6th level of the Holy Spirit realm. The gap between her and them was really too big. It was really difficult to pass through the second level. Chapter 1150 For the sorrow of a river flowing upstream. Yun Chujio's previous confidence was almost gone. The second level was already so difficult to pass, and there were 7 more levels behind. Each level was more difficult than the last. How was it possible for her to pass? There was no lightning in the trial tower. If I refined Guai Chao and the others' lightning spiritual power, there would be no way for me to continue cultivating. At that time, she would only be able to wait here for death. The more Yun Chuzhou thought about it, the more she felt that there was no way to survive. She couldn't help but feel a little discouraged. However, Yun Chuzhou had one of her greatest strengths. She was very strong in resisting attacks. After being depressed for a short while, she was revived with full health. No matter what, she had to pass one test after another. This second test might only be able to kill these 3 demonic beasts. She would first kill the bear, then think of a way to kill the other 2 demonic beasts. However, although the earth-shattering King Kong wild bear had injured one of its eyes, its spiritual power was still much stronger than hers. She had to outsmart it and not act rashly. Yun Chuzhou blinked her eyes and immediately had an idea. After making some arrangements, she began to return along the same route. She did not walk far before she met the earth-shattering King Kong wild bear. Its eyes were covered with crushed herbs. When it saw Yun Chuzhou, it immediately pounced on her with a furious roar. "You stinky bear, you still want to eat me with your clumsy appearance? Keep dreaming. With your stupid appearance, it's impossible for you to catch up with me, you idiot. No wonder you described me as stupid like a stupid bear. It turns out that you're really stupid." Yun Chuzhou taunted as she fled. The earth-shattering guardian bear roared angrily and chased after her relentlessly. The earth-shattering guardian bear's speed was much faster than Yun Chuzhou's. It was about to catch up to Yun Chuzhou. The earth-shattering guardian bear's eyes revealed a smug look. "You little weakling, I must kill you." At this moment, the earth-shattering guardian bear stumbled and fell to the ground. It could not help but be stunned. It wanted to get up and continue chasing after Yun Chuzhou, but it realized that its limbs were stuck to something. It was very difficult to move. Before it could react, several purple needles shot towards its eyes, ears, and nostrils. The earth-shattering bear wanted to pounce with its claws, but its claws were not very flexible after being stuck. It could only lie on the ground to avoid the purple needles. Before it got up, it heard a strange roar. The earth-shattering bear could not help but be distracted. Although it was only for a short moment, it was enough for the purple needles that Yun Chuzhou shot into its ears. Explode! The earth-shattering bear's huge head was instantly blown into a bloody mess, and it died instantly. Then, the earth-shattering bear's huge body disappeared, as if nothing had happened before. Yun Chuzhou sat on the ground, panting heavily. "Emma, it's a good thing that this stinky bear is stupid enough. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to kill it." Lai Yan's three-tailed fox king eagerly moved to Yun Chuzhou's side. "Master, you always say that I'm a freeloader. This time, I've done a meritorious deed, right?" Yun Chuzhou nodded. "Xiao Hong, although you've done a meritorious deed this time, you're still too weak. When will you be able to grow another tail?" "Master, this tail isn't something that I can grow whenever I want. I need time to grow it." "Well, Master, it'll just enter the spirit beast pouch to accompany boss Xiao He." Lai Yan's three-tailed fox king heard the 2 words, Xiao Hong. Although it had already accepted its fate, every time it heard this name, it would be filled with sorrow. Chapter 1155 Smelly Don't Have a Snake's Face. Yun Chuzhou put Lai Yan's three-tailed fox king into her spiritual beast bag and ate something. Then, she began to think about her next step. After killing the diamond earth-splitting wild bear, she did not go to the 3rd level. This meant that she had to kill the other 2 demonic beasts as well. Yun Chuzhou thought about it and felt that she should kill the poison-striped twin-tailed python first. Otherwise, when she was dealing with the single-horned wild bull, the poison-striped twin-tailed python would sneak attack her. However, the python was a little tricky on the cliff. She had to lure it down and then think of a way to lure it into the forest. She was on the tree and it was under the tree. That way, she would have a certain geographical advantage. Yes. That was the plan. Yun Chujio had rested enough and returned to the bottom of the cliff. The python was resting in a cave on the cliff. When it smelled Yun Chujio's scent, it poked its huge triangular head out from the cave. "Hey, you coward! Do you dare to fight me for 300 rounds?" Yun Chujio shouted with her arms akimbo. The poison-striped twin-tailed python spat out its tongue and ignored Yun Chujio. It was puzzled in its heart. Was that stupid bear killed by the little girl? It looks like an earthworm. With your looks, how can you be called a demon beast? I think you are worse than a real beast. You are such an ugly monster. I can't even eat for half a month just by looking at you. You are so ugly that you have reached a whole new level. No wonder you have been staying on the cliff. You are really self-aware. If you were to go down to the ground, all the flowers, plants, and trees would probably die from your ugliness. You even made a pattern on your body when you were free. Bah! Ugly people are always causing trouble. You are so stinky that you don't even want a snake's face. How could the poison-striped double-tailed python withstand Yun Chujio's provocation? It climbed down the cliff with its tongue sticking out. From afar, one could smell the fishy smell. Seeing the poison-striped double-tailed python climb down, Yun Chujio ran into the forest. The poison-striped double-tailed python followed closely behind. Yun Chujio slipped into the forest and climbed to the top of a tree. Yun Chujio thought that the poison-striped twin-tailed python would also climb up the tree. Then, she would be able to use her spiritual power to attack the eyes of the poison-striped twin-tailed python. However, she did not expect that the huge body of the poison-striped twin-tailed python would swing and the thick tree would actually be split into two. Yun Chujio was so scared that she quickly used the sticky silk to wrap around another tree. Then, she climbed up the tree. The eyes of the poison-striped twin-tailed python revealed a look of contempt. With another swing of its tail, the tree also broke. It was as if the tree was not a big tree but a small grass. Yun Chujio secretly cursed in her heart. She originally thought that she was thinking of a clever idea, but now it seemed that she was being smart. This small forest was not big, and it would not be long before the thick and strong trees here were knocked down. At that time, she would have no way to escape. What should she do? Xiao Hanio's curse had already been used up. Moreover, this poison-striped twin-tailed python did not have legs, so there was no such thing as wrestling. The ball of wool had just used up more than half of its sticky thread to deal with the diamond-splitting earth savage bear. She could not use it again unless it was an emergency. Although Yun Chujio tried her best to think of a way, when the small forest was completely destroyed, she still could not think of any good ideas, so she could only try her best to escape. Although the poison-striped twin-tailed python had no legs, its crawling speed on the ground was faster than Yun Chujio's running speed. Soon, it caught up with Yun Chujio and spat out a large mouthful of venom at Yun Chujio with its bright red tongue. Chapter 1156, The Transformation of a Bullfighter. After the poison-striped twin-tailed python finished spraying its venom, it proudly waited for Yun Chujio to die. Its venom was extremely poisonous. As long as it stuck to its body, it would die on the spot. This little girl was dead for sure. However, what surprised the poison-striped twin-tailed python was that the little girl was running and cursing in disgust. Fuck. You stinky earthworm, you actually spit at people for no reason. You're really shameless. Not dead. How was that possible? The python regained its senses and quickly caught up with Yun Chujio again. It spat out another mouthful of venom and then, yes, the little girl ran even faster. Could it be that its venom was useless against her? HMH, since the venom can't kill you, it'll just swallow you. When the python caught up with Yun Chujio again, it no longer spat out venom. Instead, it opened its bloody mouth and bit at Yun Chujio. It was too late for Yun Chujio to dodge. Her entire body was sucked into the mouth of the python. Just as the python was about to close its mouth and swallow Yun Chujio into its stomach, she realized that her mouth was blocked by something and she couldn't close it at all. It turned out that during the emergency, Yun Chujio had used a rolling pin to block the upper and lower jaws of the python. Moreover, the rolling pin could grow longer and longer, so the upper and lower jaws of the python were firmly blocked. A fierce look flashed across Yun Chujio's eyes. "Damn it, you still want to eat me? I'll make you bloom from the inside right now." Yun Chujio kept waving her hands, and the small purple needles continuously entered the body of the poison-striped twin-tailed python. Yun Chujio felt that it was about time, so she flew out. Explode! In an instant, hundreds of small purple needles exploded in the body of the poison-striped twin-tailed python. The poison-striped twin-tailed python was instantly blasted into a bloody mess. It rolled on the ground for a while and died. Yun Chujio rested for a while more before she climbed up the cliff. She was prepared to deal with the single-horned violent bull. This fellow really didn't have any good ideas in his mind. Moreover, he didn't know what was going on above the cliff. She could only take one step at a time. Yun Chujio used the sticky thread to finally climb to the top of the cliff. There was actually an open grassland on top. The single-horned violent bull was leisurely eating grass. However, when it saw Yun Chujio, it immediately moaned and rushed towards Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio was so scared that she quickly climbed down the cliff again. Damn, this bull was too big. It was almost as big as the diamond-splitting wild bear. It was probably not that easy to deal with. She had to outsmart it. When the single-horned bull saw Yun Chujio climb down the cliff, it moaned a few times and went back to eating grass. Yun Chujio thought for a long time but couldn't think of any good ideas. Suddenly, an idea came to her and she remembered the bullfight that she had seen in her previous life. Although this single-horned bull was a demon beast, it might also be affected. If she tried, she could just climb down again. Thinking of this, Yun Chujio rummaged through her storage ring and finally found a red cloth. Then, she quietly climbed to the top of the cliff. Old bull, what do you think this is?" Yun Chujio mimicked the actions of a bullfighter and used the red cloth to provoke the single-horned violent bull. Sure enough, the single-horned violent bull charged at the red cloth. Yun Chujio dodged while cursing in her heart. It seemed that although this demonic beast had intelligence, it was still a beast in nature and still had the habits of a beast. Although the single-horned violent bull started attacking the red cloth as Yun Chujio wished, the single-horned violent bull was too big. Yun Chujio was once again forced to climb down the cliff after a few teasing moves. Chapter 1157 Suicide by jumping off a cliff. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes. Although her strength was not as strong as that single-horned bull, she could carry out the strategy of pestering it and constantly harass it, causing it to constantly exhaust its strength. When it was too tired to run, she would deal with it again. Hence, Yun Chujio climbed up the top of the cliff again and again to fight the bull. When it could not hold on anymore, she would climb down the cliff. Although the single-horned bull was panting with anger, it was helpless. Every time the single-horned bull wanted to sleep, Yun Chujio would rush up and tease it. In a short while, she would climb down the cliff again. The single-horned bull was going crazy. The single-horned bull could not rest, but Yun Chujio could seize some time to close her eyes and rest. After being entangled for 5 whole days, the single-horned bull could not stand it anymore. When Yun Chujio rushed up the cliff again to tease it, it moaned a few times in grief and indignation. Then, under Yun Chujio's eyes, it actually jumped off the cliff. What was that? Did it jump off the cliff to commit suicide? Yun Chujio touched her nose. The single-horned bull's ability to withstand blows was too weak, right? Didn't I scold you for no reason? Didn't I not let you sleep? Didn't I pester you for 5 days? Did you commit suicide just like that? Originally, I wanted to fight with you for another 10 days to half a month. Just as Yun Chujio was complaining, a white light flashed before her eyes, and the scene before her changed once again. At this moment, Tianyuan Academy was already in chaos. Di Baiming and Xue Wuji came to Tianyuan Academy once again. Unlike last time, when they were calm and collected, this time, their bodies were filled with killing intent. After seeing Yin Sulian being sent flying by Xue Wuji's kick, those fanboys and girls, no one dared to come any closer. They only saw the two of them follow Dean Huangfu to the trial tower from afar. Everyone could not help but discuss, damn, this is too scary. This is the first time I've seen young Master Wuji so furious. That Yin Sulian probably won't be able to get out of bed for a month. Why are your excellency and young Master Wuji here again? And they even went to the trial tower. Could it be because of Yun Chujio? Forget it. How is this possible? Your Eminence might have come for Yun Chujio. After all, the palace master's wife seems to like Yun Chujio quite a lot. Young Master Wuji was very annoyed with Yun Chujio last time. Then what's going on? I guess they came for something else. As for going to the trial tower, it should be because the dean wants the two of them to help think of a way to save Yun Chujio. While everyone was discussing, Teacher Mao, who was guarding the trial tower, was in trouble. Xue Wuji immediately scolded Teacher Mao, "You brainless idiot. My little sister Jiu said that if you want to enter the trial tower, just give her the jade token. If you give her the jade token, will she sneak in? If anything happens to my little sister Jiu, I'll kill you." Teacher Mu was dumbfounded by the scolding. Little ninth sister. Who was little ninth sister? Yun Chujio. How did Yun Chujio become young Master Wuji's sister? Dean Huanfu had already activated the isolation array, so the onlookers from afar couldn't see what was happening. He quickly helped Teacher Mu out of the situation. Young Master Wuji, Teacher Mu stopped Yun Chujio from entering the trial tower for her own good. This is all my fault. I shouldn't have told Yun Chujio about the trial tower at that time. Although Xue Wuji wished he could scold Dean Huangfu, he still had the respect he should have. He could only say in a muffled voice, "HMPH. He just looks down on my little sister Jiu. He even said that it's for her own good." Chapter 1158, The main body wants to enter the trial tower. Teacher Mao lowered his head guiltily. Indeed, he had stopped Yun Chujio from entering the trial tower because he did not think highly of her. He felt that such a good-for-nothing was not qualified to enter the trial tower, so he deliberately made things difficult for her. Seeing Teacher Mao's cowardly manner, Xue Wuji could not help but get angry. Just as he was about to retort him, Di Baiming said, "Little Jiu may be temperamental, but she's not someone who doesn't know her limits. I'm afraid she didn't sneak in by herself." When Teacher Mao heard Di Baiming say the word little Jiu, he was even more shocked than when Xue Wuji said little Jiu's sister. He felt that he must have a fever today. Otherwise, how could everything he saw and heard be so abnormal? "Teacher Mao, tell your excellency and young Master Wuji about the situation at that time." Dean Huangfu pinched Teacher Mao fiercely. How could he still be in a daze at such a time? Although the Tianyuan Academy had a special status, if your excellency and young Master Wuji were to vent their anger on you, you, a mere teacher, would be doomed. Only then did Teacher Mao come back to his senses and recounted the situation at that time. Xue Wuji immediately widened his eyes and said, "You just saw my little sister Jiu's back and you're sure that she sneaked in? You just blamed my little sister Jiu for it? Maybe someone dragged my little sister Jiu in." Young Master Wuji, those students went in first. After they went in, they would be transported to the trial scene. How could they drag Yun Chuzhou in? Shui Wuji glared at Teacher Mu. No matter what, little sister Jiu won't sneak in. You must think of a way to clear things up. Otherwise, I won't forgive you. Teacher Mu was on the verge of tears. Young Master Wuji, what do you want me to say? Could it be that the trial tower sucked Yun Chuzhou in? Hearing Teacher Mu's words, Di Baiming's heart skipped a beat. Little Jiu's constitution was special. Perhaps she really was brought in by the trial tower's Qi Ling. Teacher Mao, give me a jade token. I want to enter the Tower of Trials. Di Baiming said to Teacher Mao. Teacher Mao looked at Dean Huangfu. Dean Huangfu sighed and said, Your Excellency, you also know that after a person enters the Tower of Trials, they are transported to a scene alone. Even if you enter, you will not be able to find Yun Chuzhou. If you pass the 9th level, you will find the weapon spirit of the Tower of Trials. At that time, I can force it to release little Jiu. This is the only way to save little Jiu, Di Baiming said in a deep voice. Qi Ling's voice was filled with fear. Dean Huangfu was stunned. He did not expect Di Baiming to be able to do this for Yun Chuzhou. He advised, Your Excellency, although your spiritual power is considered outstanding in the Tianyuan continent, it is extremely difficult to pass the 9th level. Furthermore, what about the matters of the Temple of Immortals? The trial tower forbids the use of talismans. If there is an urgent matter, there is no way for us to inform you. When I was in the academy, I managed to clear the 6th level. At that time, my spiritual power was much lower than it is now. I believe that I can clear the 9th level this time. There is no need to say more. Give me the jade token. Di Baiming's eyes revealed a determined look. Little Jiu, wait for me. I will definitely be able to save you. Teacher Mao was just about to pass the jade token to Di Baiming when he saw the 3rd level of the trial tower light up. Teacher Mao exclaimed, Yun Chuzhou actually managed to break through to the 3rd level. How is this possible? She is only at the 1st level of the spirit sect. Chapter 1159 might be a fortuitous encounter. Dean Huangfu and the others also looked towards the trial tower. Indeed, the 3rd level of the trial tower lit up. Dean Huangfu could not help but exclaim, only those at the 6th level of the Spirit Saint realm can pass through the 2nd level of the trial tower. How did Yun Chuzhou do it? This is too unbelievable. Di Baiming originally wanted to insist on entering the trial tower, but when he saw this, he suddenly had a thought. Little Nine had the great void mystic realm to eat and drink without any worries. Moreover, the trial tower was not really dead. This might be Little Nine's fortuitous encounter. He should wait for a while before deciding whether to enter the Tower of Trials. Dean Huangfu, I've changed my mind. I'll cultivate in front of this tower. I'll wait for a while before deciding whether to enter the tower. Dean Huangfu naturally wanted this. If Di Baiming didn't come out for a while after entering, the hall master's wife would have to run over to him and ask for him. Shui Wuji rolled his eyes, since Di Baiming is waiting here, then I will wait here too. Anyway, it's the same wherever I cultivate. It's just that those idiots are getting annoyed just by looking at me. Tell them to get lost and don't disturb me. The corner of Dean Huangfu's eyes twitched. He did not need to give any orders. They saw the kick that you gave Yin Sulian. If they came, they probably would not dare to come close. When Dean Huangfu thought of this, he removed the isolation array. The people watching from afar saw that His Excellency and young Master Wuji were sitting cross-legged in the empty space in front of the trial tower. They were even more puzzled. What's going on? Why did His Excellency and young Master Wuji come to the trial tower to meditate? Did they have a sudden epiphany? How is that possible? If they had an epiphany, it's impossible for them to have an epiphany together. Could it be that they are waiting for Yun Chuzhou to come out of the trial tower? Ha ha ha. Your joke is not funny at all. Let's not talk about your excellency and young Master Wuji's identity. Why would they wait for a puny Yunchujio here? Most importantly, do you think Yunchujio can still come out? You're right. I really can't figure it out. At this moment, a student exclaimed, "Look! The third level of the trial tower lit up. Could it be that Yunchujio made it to the third level?" Everyone's attention was on Di Baiming and Shui Wuji just now. Only then did they realize that the third level of the trial tower actually lit up. How was this possible? Wasn't Yunchujio only at the first level of the spirit sect? She was lucky enough to get to the second level, but how did she manage to get to the third level? Just when everyone was surprised that Yunchujio managed to get to the third level, the fourth level actually lit up. Everyone immediately exploded. Heavens! This was impossible. There must be a problem with the trial tower. The third level only lit up for an hour at most. How could Yunchujio clear the third level in such a short time? Teacher Mao jumped up in shock. Impossible. How is this possible? She actually used only an hour to clear the third level of the trial tower. How is this possible? Shui Wuji glared fiercely at Teacher Mao and said in a low voice, "Little Sister Jiu is much more powerful than you think. You are a snob." Teacher Mu was immediately dispirited and did not say a word. Dean Huangfu looked at the trial tower, but his heart was shocked. This Yunchujio was really unexpected. She actually managed to break through to the fourth level of the spirit sect's fourth level, and it only took her an hour to break through to the third level. How did she do it? Perhaps, Yunchujio could break through to the ninth level. Chapter 1160, the third level of the Tower of Trials. Dean Huangfu was shocked by his own thoughts. He must have gone mad. Although Yunchujio had broken through to the fourth level, it might just be a fluke. A fourth level spirit sect cultivator had broken through to the ninth level of the Tower of Trials. That was simply impossible. It was better to place their hopes on the Honorable One. Then, why did Yunchujio only use an hour to pass through the third level of the Tower of Trials? An hour ago, the Trial Tower, third level. When Yunchujio opened her eyes, she realized that she had been transported to a dense forest. Yunchujio looked around, but she did not find any traces of demonic beasts. This was strange. Could the demonic beasts be outside the dense forest? Just as Yunchujio was at a loss, the vines on the ground and on the trees suddenly burst out. The speed was so fast that Yunchujio did not have time to react. She was immediately bound tightly. Yunchujio was shocked. Just as she was about to release Lai Yen and burn down the vines, she was horrified to find that her spiritual power was actually restricted. Moreover, she could not use her spiritual sense and spiritual beast bag at all. The vines danced crazily and let out sharp laughter. The vines on Yunchujio's body became tighter and tighter. Moreover, the thorns on the vines began to pierce into Yunchujio's exposed hands. Demon plants. There were vines everywhere in this dense forest. It was simply impossible to guard against them. However, why did this scene look a little familiar? Oh right, this was the scene when she was absorbing the spirit of the spirit vines. It was just that the spirit-absorbing vines were not as high level as these demon plants. Damn it! At that time, when she had absorbed all the poison from the vines had become obedient. She did not know if this trick would work on these demon plants. Forget it, let's try again. Since she was thirsty, she would just drink it like water. Anyway, the poison would not kill her. Yunchujio thought of this and lowered her head to bite down on a vine. Then, she began to suck the juice inside. The Guai Chao in her dantian was overjoyed. This thing was much more advanced than sucking the juice of the spirit vine. The vine let out a contemptuous laugh. This human girl was really stupid. Its juice was extremely poisonous. She was simply courting death. As long as you took a sip, you would be dead. Then, 1 sip, 2 sips, 10 sips. The vine found at the little girl was completely fine. However, the venom in her body was constantly leaking out. The branch of the vine that was binding the little girl had already begun to wither. No. How could this be? This was impossible. Why wasn't she poisoned to death? Yun Chujio did not care what the vine was thinking. She continued to suck the venom from the vine. Damn it, do you think I'm a sick cat if I don't show my strength? You want to kill me? I'll suck you into a dried vine first. The vine was miserable. After Yun Chujio finished sucking the vine that was binding her, she found the thickest trunk and started to suck the poison from it. The vine was not willing to sit still and wait for death. It kept beating Yun Chujio with the vine. Yun Chujio was determined. No matter how you beat her, I will not let go. I will suck you into a dried vine today. Finally, the main trunk of the vine began to wither. Yun Chujio curled her lips and let the three-tailed fox king Lai Yen burn the main trunk of the vine. Even in her dreams, the vine did not expect to die so aggrieved one day. As the main trunk of the vine burned to ashes, a white light flashed in front of Yun Chujio's eyes. When she saw the scene in front of her, she regretted sucking the poison of the vine slowly. Chapter 1161, Come and Eat Me Fuck. She was absolutely certain that this damn Trial Tower's Qi Ling wanted to kill her. If she was teleported to this place, she might as well just kill her. At this moment, Yun Chujio was pitifully lying in a pit that was about 20 feet deep. There were 3 level 25 bloodthirsty wolves surrounding her, eyeing Yun Chujio greedily in the pit. The 3 bloodthirsty wolves let out horrifying howls. Their eyes were full of green light, and their saliva dripped down. No matter how Yun Chujio thought about it, she felt that she had no way to survive. The bloodthirsty wolves could use wind blades to attack. Apparently, they were afraid that their food would be cut into pieces, so they didn't use wind blades, otherwise, Yun Chujio would have died long ago. Level 25 bloodthirsty wolves were equivalent to human cultivators from the first to second layer of the Supreme Being realm. The gap between Yun Chujio and them was almost like a gully. Not to mention the 3 bloodthirsty wolves, she couldn't even deal with one of them. However, Yun Chujio quickly adjusted her state of mind. Damn it, was the Tian Dao strong? Was the heavenly lightning strong? Wasn't I still alive and well? The 3 little wolves wanted to take her life. No way. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and started to think of a countermeasure. This pit was not deep. Logically speaking, as long as one bloodthirsty wolf jumped in, it would be easy to eat her. Why did the 3 bloodthirsty wolves only surround the pit and not eat her? Yun Chujio's heart moved. It was probably because the 3 bloodthirsty wolves were wary of each other. If one of them jumped down, the other 2 would most likely hit it while it was down and attack it with wind blades. Then, it would definitely die. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes, and then her heart was filled with joy. She had an idea. Yun Chujio smiled and waved her claws at the 3 bloodthirsty wolves. Hey, 3 wolves, I'm really lucky to be able to meet you. The 3 bloodthirsty wolves were dumbfounded. Was this little girl crazy? Didn't she know that she would be eaten by them? And she even greeted them with a smile. 3 wolves, you must be very strange. Why am I so happy? Because I feel that it is my honor to die in the hands of such noble demon beasts. Come on. Which wolf lord jumped in and ate me? Yun Chujio closed her eyes, she smiled and waited for her death. The 3 bloodthirsty wolves looked at each other warily. Although they were drooling over the prey in the pit, they didn't move to prevent becoming the other 2 prey. Yun Chujio opened her eyes in confusion. My lords, why aren't you eating me? My skin is tender and my meat is very delicious. I guarantee that I won't bite. Come and eat me. The three bloodthirsty wolves could not help but take half a step back. This guy must be sick. Who would take the initiative to ask to be eaten? I know. Do you think it's inconvenient to eat me in the pit? How about this? I'll climb up so that you can easily eat me. The three bloodthirsty wolves were delighted. It would be easy if this human girl climbed up. They did not have to be wary of each other. After Yun Chuzhou finished speaking, she made a move to climb up. After climbing a few times, she returned to the bottom of the pit. She covered her mouth. Three wolves, I suddenly thought of a very big problem. If I climb up now, how are the three of you going to share it? You'd better discuss how to share it with me first. For example, who is the biggest can eat more. Chapter 1162. Watching a wolf fight in a pit. When the three bloodthirsty wolves heard Yun Chuzhou's words, one of the larger ones began to howl proudly. Although Yun Chuzhou didn't understand what it was howling about, it probably meant that it should eat more. The other two bloodthirsty wolves were immediately unhappy and howled angrily. The larger one also didn't want to be outdone and howled again. A crafty look flashed across Yun Chuzhou's eyes. She said to herself, as the saying goes, more wolves have less meat. If this wolf loses one, wouldn't it have more meat in its mouth? Moreover, there could be another wolf's corpse. It's worth it just to think about it. The two smaller bloodthirsty wolves heard Yun Chuzhou's words and looked at each other. Suddenly, they attacked the larger one from the left and right. Although Yun Chuzhou could not see, she could hear the sounds of fighting from above. She did not stay idle and quickly brought Xiao He out so that it could quickly dig a hole. Xiao He was not good at other things, but it was good at digging holes. Although it was small, it could dig a hole very quickly. An hour later, the two smaller wolves' proud roars came from above the pit. It was obvious that the larger wolf had been killed. The two bloodthirsty wolves had no time to care about Yun Chuzhou who was in the pit. They wolfed down the corpse of the bloodthirsty wolf. Although it was a mirage beast derived from the array, in the eyes of these mirage beasts, the demon beast's corpse would not disappear. After the two bloodthirsty wolves finished eating, they burped and came to the side of the pit. Yun Chuzhou knew that the two bloodthirsty wolves were full now and would not eat her for a while. What she needed to do now was to stall for time and buy time for Xiao He. Xiao He was very smart. There was only a small hole outside. Yun Chuzhou used her body to cover it, but the hole inside was getting wider and wider. The two wolves are really too brave. Since you are not hungry now, I will tell you some things about the outside to relieve your boredom. Yun Chuzhou sat in the hole and said with a flattering look. The two bloodthirsty wolves had just had a good meal, so they were not in a hurry to eat Yun Chuzhou. They lay lazily by the pit and looked at Yun Chuzhou. Yun Chuzhou began to tell the story with a lively voice and a lively voice. The two bloodthirsty wolves had never heard such an interesting story before, so they listened to it with great interest. Yun Chuzhou was good at lying. Besides drinking a few mouthfuls of water, she did not stop at all. She kept telling the story while thinking to herself, it would be best if these two bloodthirsty wolves started fighting and I could reap the benefits. Lord Wolves, I don't know if you've heard of the saying, one mountain cannot accommodate two wolves. That means that no matter if it's a human or a demon beast, there must be a leader. Both Lord Wolves are so outstanding. Who is stronger? I see that the Lord Wolf in the east has sharper fangs, but the Lord Wolf in the west has sharper claws. It's really hard to tell who is stronger, Yun Chuzhou said with a conflicted look. The bloodthirsty wolf in the east howled arrogantly, and the bloodthirsty wolf in the west also didn't want to be outdone. The two bloodthirsty wolves howled continuously. The two wolves value harmony. Don't fight. Your strength is equal. It's hard to say who will win or lose. Don't fight. Yun Chuzhou shouted. The two bloodthirsty wolves were just howling, but when they heard Yun Chuzhou, they immediately started fighting. Chapter 1163 Killing Wolves in the Pit. Yun Chujio listened to the sounds of fighting above and the corners of her mouth curled up. Fight with me. She only needed to use her brain to let them kill each other. It would be better if both of them died in the end. Then, she would not have to hide in the hole that Mickey had dug. Another hour passed. The sounds of fighting above became softer and softer. A bloodthirsty wolf that was covered in wounds appeared above the pit. Seeing this, Yun Chujio hurriedly hid in the hole behind. What a joke! As long as this bloodthirsty wolf shot down a wind blade, she would definitely die. Seeing Yun Chujio hiding in the hole, the bloodthirsty wolf howled angrily. Yun Chujio hid at the edge of the hole. She shouted loudly, "You stupid wolf! You're so stupid that you've reached a new height. This is called a plot to sow discord. You three idiots have all fallen into my trap. Ha ha ha, if you have the ability, come down and eat me. You big idiot." When the bloodthirsty wolf above the deep pit heard Yun Chujio's words, it was so angry that it almost went crazy. It crazily shot out wind blades into the hole, but unfortunately, the wind blades attacked in a straight line. Even though the bottom of the pit was cut into a mess, it did not harm Yun Chujio at all. Moreover, Xiao He had already opened air holes elsewhere, so it was not afraid of being suffocated to death. Idiot, not only are you stupid, you're also a coward. If you have the ability, come down and fight me for 300 rounds. You wouldn't be afraid of a first-level spirit sect human like me, right? Yun Chujio continued to provoke. Now, this bloodthirsty wolf had suffered quite a serious injury. Moreover, she had the initiative in this hole, so she had to provoke it down. The bloodthirsty wolf was so angry that it lost its mind. It was so angry that it actually jumped down. The soil at the bottom of the pit had already been cut loose by the wind blades, so it was not afraid of falling down. Before the bloodthirsty wolf landed on the ground, Yun Chujio's purple needle shot towards its eyes. The bloodthirsty wolf could only wave its claws to block the attack of the purple needle. As soon as the bloodthirsty wolf landed on the ground, it threw a few wind blades at the cave where Yun Chujio was hiding. Unexpectedly, the cave that Xiao He dug had an arc. Yun Chujio retreated into the cave and avoided the wind blades that attacked in a straight line. When the wolf was attacking Yun Chujio with the wind blades crazily, it did not expect that two more holes appeared on the wall of the cave. Two balls of flames were thrown at it. The two balls of flames, one red and one purple, were sent by Xiao He and Lai Yan, the three-tailed fox king. It turned out that Xiao He had dug two separate paths, which allowed Xiao He and Lai Yan to attack the wolf from a high place. There was a limited area at the bottom of the pit, so the bloodthirsty wolf had nowhere to hide. Its fur was immediately burned by the fireballs, especially Xiao Henio's purple fireballs, which were even more destructive. They burned the bloodthirsty wolf until it cried out in pain. It could only use its claws to dig Yun Chujio's cave with all its might, wanting to go in and eat Yun Chujio. The bloodthirsty wolf was in a hurry to avoid the fireballs behind, so just as it dug the hole a little bigger, the bloodthirsty wolf's huge head drilled into the cave. Yun Chujio was waiting inside the hole. Just as the bloodthirsty wolf's big head poked in, several small purple needles shot towards its eyes. The bloodthirsty wolf wanted to retreat, but its big head was already stuck, and it was hit by the small purple needles. Yun Chujio shouted, "Explode!" Immediately, the bloodthirsty wolf's eyes became a bloody mess, and almost at the same time, the body of the bloodthirsty wolf was also burned. The bloodthirsty wolf was in so much pain that it quickly pulled its head back and began to rub the cave wall to extinguish the flames on its body. However, how could a blind and heavily injured demonic beast be a match for Yun Chujio and Dumb Meng? After 15 minutes, this miserable bloodthirsty wolf died unwillingly. Chapter 1164 did not want to turn into a bird skeleton at this moment. The outside of the trial tower was already in an uproar. When Yun Chujio reached the 4th level, many people began to gather outside the trial tower to watch. They had a faint hope that Yun Chujio would continue to advance, although they felt that this idea was ridiculous. However, if Yun Chujio, who was at the first level of the spirit sect, could reach the fourth level, what was impossible? Of course, there were also many people who came for Di Baiming and Shui Wuji. Although they did not dare to disturb the two meditating, it was still good to be close to them. As time passed, some people began to twitch their lips. I think Yun Chujio can only make it to the fourth level. The demonic beasts on the fourth level are of the 25th level, which is equivalent to the spiritual power of the first or second level of the Supreme Being realm. No matter how lucky Yun Chujio is, it's impossible for her to defeat them. Well, you're right. Yun Chujio is just like that. If we could still cultivate in there, we might be able to make it to the 9th level in our lifetime. Yun Chujio has a heavenly thunder spiritual root, so she can't cultivate in there at all, so she can only live and die on the 4th level. In my opinion, she might as well be on the 1st level. No matter what, the environment on the 1st level isn't that bad. The environment on the 4th level must be pretty bad. She's asking for trouble, and she has to suffer even before she dies. Just as everyone was talking, they heard Teacher Mao's voice breaking. 5th level. Yun Chujio has broken through to the 5th level. Everyone looked up and saw that the 5th level of the trial tower had lit up. It was obvious that Yun Chujio had broken through to the 4th level and reached the 5th level. Everyone felt that this was impossible. Not to mention that Yun Chujio was only a first-level spirit sect freshman, even a first-level spirit paragon might not be able to pass the 5th level. How on earth did Yun Chujio do it? This was simply too unbelievable. Teacher Mao was so excited that he was trembling slightly. Right now, he could not wait for Yun Chujio to pass the 9th level so that Di Baiming and Shui Wuji would not vent their anger on him. Moreover, he had been guarding the trial tower for many years, so he was truly excited from the bottom of his heart. He really hoped that he would be able to see someone pass the 9th level in his lifetime. Di Baiming and Shui Wuji had been meditating all this while. When they heard Teacher Mao's shout, they raised their heads and took a look. Their hearts were filled with joy. Perhaps little Jiao would really be able to pass the 9th level. Dean Huanfu was also extremely excited. This Yun Chujio was really a weirdo. She actually managed to pass the 5th level of the trial tower with the 4th level of the spirit sect. She was truly a rare genius. However, could she continue to break through? Trial tower, 5th level. Yun Chujio sneezed fiercely. Damn, someone must be missing me. Perhaps the gigolo knows that something has happened to me and is waiting for me outside. Master, don't talk about these useless things. It's better to think of a way quickly. Otherwise, you will only be gnawed into white bones by these gold-eating gold ants countless times. Xiao Hanio said unhappily. This guy's heart was really big. At this time, he still had the mood to think of a gigolo. At this time, Yun Chujio was standing on top of a small mound. Below her was a dense swarm of gold-eating gold ants. The ants were quickly climbing up the mound. Yun Chujio and Xiao Hanio were constantly using their spiritual power to attack the gold-eating gold ants. However, the number of gold-eating gold ants was really too many. Even though Yun Chujio and Stupid Meng were trying their best to attack, many still managed to climb up. Master, quickly think of a way. I don't want to turn into a bird skeleton again and again. Xiao Hanio shouted anxiously. Chapter 1165, The Ant Queen. Yun Chujio sighed. Master, I don't want to do that either. But this gold-backed devouring gold ant is different from other demonic beasts. I can't use it no matter how much I can trick it. The ant colony got closer and closer to Yun Chujio and the rest. Its sharp teeth emitted a cold light. It looked very scary. Damn it. If only my fireball could be a little bigger. I can burn these damn ants to death. Lai Yan's three-tailed fox king said while spitting out the fireball. Yun Chujia's eyes suddenly lit up. She recalled the scene where she burned the phantom hell flower in the ancient spiritual medicine valley. Fuck, I'll give you some oil. I can't burn you to death. Yun Chujio took out a few pots of vegetable oil from her storage ring and poured it on the ants below. The ants were immediately unlucky. When the vegetable oil met the fireball, the fire immediately spread. The gold-eating gold ants were burned to the ground. When they ran around, they even burned the rest of the gold-eating gold ants. The ants immediately became chaotic. Yun Chujio stood on the small mound and laughed. You ants still want to fight with me? I'll kill you all in a minute. Although the three Xiao Hanio did not know how they got here in a minute, it did not stop them from being happy. Finally, they did not have to turn into white bones. Unfortunately, they were happy too early. After the ant colony calmed down, one of the queen ants with a fat body began to deploy troops. They began to dig a tunnel quickly, preparing to drill into the small mound from the ground. These gold-eating gold ants had very sharp teeth. They dug very quickly, and it would not take long for them to dig into the small mound. However, if Yun Chujio left the small mound, she would immediately be surrounded by the ants. Yun Chujio's face was once again filled with worry. Master, why don't we rush down? If it really doesn't work, we can use fire to burn a path. Xiao Hanio said. No, these gold-eating ants will huddle together when they are cornered. At that time, they can completely ignore our fireballs. Moreover, without the geographical advantage, we are no match for the ant colony, Yun Chujio said disapprovingly. But, we are also waiting for death here. After a while, those gold-eating ants will crawl out of the soil. Together with the gold-eating ants below, we will be attacked from both sides. Let me think about it. There must be a way. I don't believe that my IQ is not better than these ants. Yun Chujio rubbed her temples and her brain kept working. These days, she was exhausted and could not get any rest. She felt that her brain was almost frozen. If she wanted to clear the level, she would probably have to kill all these gold-eating ants. However, there were so many ants, how could she kill them all? Yun Chujio's gaze fell on the queen ant. To catch a thief, one must first catch the king. If she killed the queen ant, these small fries would probably be easier to deal with. How could she kill it? The queen ant had been hiding in the middle of the ant colony, and her spiritual power could not reach it. She had to lure it to the front. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes, and her eyes fell on the fat body of the queen ant. Yun Chujio took out a bucket of honey from her storage ring, added some flour, and threw 2 small balls in the direction of the queen ant. Perhaps the taste of the honey was too fragrant. The queen ant swayed its fat body to the side of the honey ball and touched the honey ball with its antennae. Then, she let a gold-eating ant try it and saw that there was no bad reaction after it ate it. Then, she swallowed the honey ball in one bite. Yun Chujio was happy when she saw this. As long as you are willing to eat it, I won't poison you to death. Yun Chujio kept throwing the honey balls. Each of the honey balls was not big, and the queen was very protective of her food. She did not let other ants eat it, so all the honey balls went into the queen's stomach. Seeing that the gold-eating ants were about to dig up the earth, the queen suddenly fell to the ground and twitched. She kicked her legs and died. A white light flashed in front of Yun Chujio's eyes. She had actually passed the 5th level. It turned out that as long as the queen ant died, she would pass. Yun Chujio had also passed the 5th level by accident. Chapter 1166, She encountered a fake trial tower outside the trial tower. It was currently late at night. Most of the people had left, and only a few people were still standing outside to watch. Suddenly, Teacher Mao's roar caused everyone to tremble in fear. The 6th level. The 6th level. Yun Chujio. Teacher Mao was so excited that he shouted until his voice cracked. The sound of the silent night spread across almost half of Tianyuan Academy. Everyone looked up and sure enough, the sixth level of the trial tower lit up. Although everyone was very excited, they seemed to be somewhat numb at this moment. After all, Yun Chuzhou, who was on the first level of the spirit sect, was already surprised enough to rush to the fifth level. The sixth level, well, it was actually nothing. Some people even felt that the trial tower that Yun Chuzhou encountered must be a fake trial tower. Otherwise, why would our spiritual power be so much higher than hers and not even be able to pass the first level? Right. The trial tower that she encountered must be a fake trial tower. It must be like that. Yun Chuzhou was not as relaxed as they were now. She had not been able to rest for the past few days. Regardless of whether it was her physical strength or her brain power, they had already reached their limits. However, the situation before her did not allow her to even have a moment to catch her breath. There was an incomparably scorching sun above Yun Chuzhia's head, and under her feet was an endless desert. Fortunately, Yun Chuzhou had the cool beads that the Guai Chao gave her, so she was not roasted into dried meat. However, at this time, the two ghost-faced golden-backed centipedes at level 26 were attacking her crazily, not giving her a chance to speak at all. Level 26 was equivalent to the third or fourth level of the spiritual venerable realm of humans, so Yun Chuzhou was no match for them. Yun Chuzhia's only advantage was that she was not afraid of the venom they spat out, so she barely managed to hold on for a short while. However, after the two ghost-faced golden-backed centipedes realized that the venom was not easy to use, they began to stab Yun Chuzhou with their sharp antennae. The antennae of the ghost-faced golden-backed centipedes were harder than fine iron, emitting a faint blue light. Not only were they sharp, but they were also poisonous. Although Yun Chuzhou was agile, the difference in her spiritual power was too big. One of the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede's antennae accidentally stabbed her left leg, and blood immediately flowed out. Yun Chuzhou grimaced in pain and thought, "I'm done for. I'm afraid I won't be able to pass this test. Damn it, I'm really unwilling to die in the hands of such an ugly bug. If I had known this would happen, I would have stayed in the vine forest. It would have been better if I had food and drink." However, this fellow was only thinking about this. His hands were not idle, and he even let Xiao Hanio curse him once. He inserted a few purple needles into the left eye of one of the golden-backed centipedes. Damn it, even if I die. Don't even think about having a good time. The ghost-faced golden-backed centipede was injured, and it became even more ferocious. One of its tentacles once again pierced Yun Chuzhia's right leg. Yun Chuzhia's eyes were bloodshot. She was going all out. This fellow was really ruthless. He did not pull out his right leg. Instead, he used his right leg to restrain the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede's tentacles, making it unable to move freely. A few more purple needles pierced into the right eye of the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede before he pulled out his right leg. Yun Chuzhou raised the rolling pin and was about to smash the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede. At this moment, another ghost-faced golden-backed centipede pounced on her. With a sweep of its tail, it sent Yun Chuzhou flying. Yun Chuzhou only felt that her ribs were about to be broken. She spat out a mouthful of blood. Before she fainted, Yun Chuzhou thought to herself, "Damn it, I still need to have strong spiritual power." She was afraid that she would not be able to pass this test by relying on her words and intelligence. Chapter 1167 Benchao was very worried Yun Chuzhou fell to the ground. Fortunately, she was in the desert, so she would not be hurt if she fell. However, this fellow was seriously injured and had already fainted. The ghost-faced golden-backed centipede crawled over fiercely. Its sharp antennae flashed with a cold light and was about to stab Yun Chuzhia's chest. At this moment, the black bead in Yun Chuzhia's dantian suddenly trembled. Yun Chuzhou woke up from the intense pain in her dantian. Seeing the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede coming towards her, she hurriedly rolled on the ground, only then did she dodge the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede's tentacles. The ghost-faced golden-backed centipede did not expect Yunchujio to still be able to move after suffering such a serious injury. It was shocked and stopped for a moment. Yunchujio took advantage of this gap and summoned the 5 immortal swords that she had not used for a long time. She gritted her teeth and added 3 more immortal swords. A total of 8 immortal swords attacked the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede's weak spot. The ghost-faced golden-backed centipede was shocked. It had seen that a cultivator could only command 2 immortal swords at most. Moreover, they were small and exquisite double swords. How could this little girl command 8 great swords at the same time? Yunchujio commanded the 8 immortal swords to entangle the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede. She took out a super-grade blood coagulation pill and swallowed it. With the effect of the Guai Chao and the pill, Yunchujia's injuries were soon healed. In just a short while, the 8 immortal swords could no longer stop the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede. The ghost-faced golden-backed centipede slapped the 8 immortal swords away, and its sharp antennae stabbed towards Yunchujio again. Yunchujio had no choice but to put away the immortal swords and attack the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede again with the purple needles. However, this ghost-faced golden-backed centipede was much smarter than the other one. It protected its key parts and did not give the purple needles any chance to attack. Yunchujia's left leg was once again pierced by the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede's tentacles. Yunchujio used the same trick again. She endured the intense pain and used her body to delay the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede's movement. Several small purple needles shot directly at the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede's eyes. Although the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede used its other tentacle to hit away a part of the small purple needles, there were still more than 10 small purple needles that pierced into its eyes. After Yunchujio broke away from the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede's tentacles, the small purple needles exploded, and the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede roared in pain. The ghost-faced golden-backed centipede went berserk. Although its eyes were severely injured, it still pierced its other tentacle into Yunchujia's chest. Yunchujia's entire body was hung on one of the tentacles of the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede. The ghost-faced golden-backed centipede let out a shrill cry and opened its big mouth, wanting to swallow Yunchujio into its stomach. Yunchujia's eyes were red. "Damn it, do you want to eat me? I will kill you even if I have to risk my life." Yunchujio opened her mouth to the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede and released several small purple needles. Following the explosion of the small purple needles, the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede began to roll on the ground. Yunchujio was also constantly thrown around. The wound on her chest became bigger and bigger. Yunchujio felt that she was really going to die this time. Although it was not true death, the feeling was really unpleasant. Finally, the ghost-faced golden-backed centipede stopped moving. Its body disappeared, and the tentacles that were inserted into Yunchujia's body were also gone. However, the wound was still there, and Yunchujio passed out. Guai Chao kept repairing Yunchujia's wound. This little girl was really ruthless. She actually used her own body to balance the stinky centipede. In the past, when she said that she wanted to cut open its abdomen to kill it, it thought that she was just trying to scare it. Now, it seemed that this girl could really do it. In the future, when it and she could not coexist, she might really destroy both jade and stone. This grass was very worried. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.